Next up is eye contact. Yes, y'all. Eye contact is big. When you cast your eyes downward or even sideways, at times it can suggest insecurity or even dishonesty. A lot of shy people do this. But being shy often suggests to people that you can be easily influenced or overtaken in discussions. Maintaining eye contact achieves two things. It shows confidence in yourself, but it also shows that you are paying attention to the person you're speaking with. So, in essence, eye contact conveys respect both for them and yourself. Not maintaining eye contact may make you come across as disinterested, disengaged, shifty, untrustworthy, or perhaps even give a message that you don't trust in them. Shows that you lack confidence in yourself. For example, if you are asked a question and you immediately look away, it sends a message that you are intimidated by the question for some reason. Either because you feel you don't have a good answer, or you are about to answer dishonestly. In other words, it tells people that you lack assurance about what you're saying. Now, whether that's fair or not, that is the interpretation a lot of people will get. Now, truth is, some people just aren't comfortable with eye contact, and that's all it is. They're not lying, they're not unsure of themselves or their abilities, they just feel awkward about making eye contact. That's more of a social hang-up than it is about passivity. But we're not talking about what it is. We're talking about how people perceive it. Because their perception is their reality. So if you aren't very good at eye contact for whatever reason, no fear, we can help fix that. But first, you need to look at the watch. And don't look away. Look. 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 You are falling under my trance. You will send me a new PlayStation 5 with all the top games as a gift for enjoying the class. You will include a box of Entenmann's oatmeal raisin cookies as well, and throw in a Snapple iced tea. Huh? Don't hypnotize the students? Right, oh, all right, you're right. Okay, so let's forget all that. Let's practice in a different way. If you aren't good at eye contact, there is a pattern for you to follow. But first, keep in mind that making eye contact does not mean you need to stare into their eyes, glaring at them like you belong in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Just maintain a normal, soft, relaxed look, right? No need to narrow your eyes or widen your eyes, which can be interpreted as phony or aggressive or suspicious. Just do what comes naturally. Hey, my name is Billy Bob, how are you doing? And then hold eye contact for a few seconds, and then you could break it. But return back to it. All right? How long should you hold it? Good question. A study published in the Royal Society Open Science Journal, which is peer-reviewed, revealed that the ideal time to hold eye contact is roughly 3.3 seconds. Now, it's just a guide, of course, but in general, holding it for significantly less suggested the person may be, again, shifty or insecure, and holding it for significantly longer, actually, could be interpreted as aggressive, which is something to keep in mind. Extended eye contact without breaking can come across as threatening or even creepy, like someone is trying to stare you down or read your thoughts, like they're fantasizing about eating your foot with a side of fries. So don't creep people out, all right, with some sort of Medusa glare, okay? So with that said, let's talk about a method you can use to help improve your ability to make eye contact with people. This method is called the triangle method. Now, before we talk about this technique, keep in mind, you shouldn't only make eye contact when you're talking, you should also make eye contact when you're listening. That gives the impression that you care, you're engaged. So here is the little trick that might help you maintain eye contact if you feel awkward about just glaring into someone's eyes. You feel maybe it's a little bit too intimate or it's too odd or, whatevs. You can employ the triangle method or the triangle technique. So instead of looking into a person's eyes, you focus on one eye for a few moments and then move to the next eye And then you look towards their nose, or the space between their eyes,
Or towards the center of their forehead.
or some prefer looking at the chin for a few moments if you're far enough away. And then you return to the first eye. Repeat process. That will help you ensure that you're making eye contact, but will also help you avoid the psycho stare. This works because it does maintain eye contact with the person you're speaking to, but the person that you're speaking with doesn't notice that your eyes are shifting much. Right? And it can help you physically feel relieved because you aren't technically looking away every few moments. But you're just doing it without breaking the perceived eye contact. Now, some people suggest you can employ the triangle technique by looking at a person's mouth instead of their nose or between their eyes. But just be aware that this might be a bit more noticeable of a shift depending on how far away you are situated from the person you're speaking with.
And it's also important to acknowledge that
some people have sexualized the move, so you want to be careful because you're not trying to send the suggestion that you're trying to make out with the person you're talking to, and staring at their lips might give that impression to certain people. Okay, now that doesn't necessarily mean the person you're speaking with is going to think you want to kiss him or her if you happen to glance at their lips from time to time, but just be aware that it could possibly be interpreted that way if you are seen consistently looking at their mouth instead of the nose or the space between their eyes. Now, if you do want to make out with them, it might help you. Or if you want to make them insecure, you can try that as well. Right? You want to, you're sitting there in a meeting and the guy's talking, you want to give him the weird vibes, you just start looking at him. He's talking, you're just staring at his mouth. Maybe start licking your lips, start rubbing your nipples or whatever. I don't suggest any of that, but, you could make them uncomfortable, and then, I don't know why the hell you'd want to do. Why would you want to do that? It's a stupid idea. Why are we even talking about that? Also, keep in mind that people tend to be insecure about their mouths, so if you keep looking at it, they may start to think they have spinach in their teeth or whatever. And by the way, this is a bit advanced, and it is a bit duplicitous, so I do not recommend it. But there is a technique you can use to throw people off their game. In the middle of someone talking, if you tell them they have food in their teeth, even if they don't, it can disrupt their flow, their thinking pattern, and it shifts power, albeit momentarily, from them, if this is like a power struggle thing, to you, because now they feel embarrassed. Now, many people won't care if you say they have food in their teeth, but it could rattle some people who are a bit more insecure.
And it doesn't even have to be so specific that you tell them they have something in their teeth. Just looking at people's mouths can make people feel self-conscious. A large amount of studies have shown that a good amount of people feel insecure or self-conscious about their teeth or their smile. So if someone thinks that you're focusing on their mouth or their teeth, it could psychologically throw them off, which could, theoretically, perhaps give you an advantage if you're engaged in some sort of conversational power struggle. However, we don't recommend you use this because it can backfire quite easily. It is a bit sneaky. It could also lead to you coming across as weird or creepy. It could make people think you want to make out with them. Or it might not have any effect on people whatsoever. But it is something to keep in mind.
So next time you're speaking with your boss and you feel like you need to get some sort of power footing in the conversation, you could just give him one of those. And, let him know he's got a little something in his teeth. And as he tries to adjust himself, just look at him, disgusted, and maybe start gagging like you're about to vomit. Especially if he doesn't give you a raise. Huh? What? Stop giving bad advice? Okay. Just, never mind. Ignore all that. Sorry. As I was saying, you can use the triangle method and practice it on yourself in the mirror. Connect with your eyes in the mirror. Just talk about your day, or practice a speech or an interview or whatever, and practicing doing it while listening as well. You can also practice with people you're comfortable with, right? Your friends, your family. And practice it in low-stakes situations, like when you go to the store, when you go to pay the cashier. You could try making eye contact with them. Like, give them a good old eye contact when you ask them to double bag your groceries. I mean, if anything, you may notice that they're the ones that start to struggle with maintaining eye contact. Because again, it isn't an uncommon trait nowadays to feel a bit awkward making eye contact. But it is a trait you're going to need to work on overcoming. Capisce?
Now, there is one other thing you can do to practice, and lucky you, you can do it from the comfort of your own home. You can thank modern technology. What you can do is you can start by practicing with practice videos that they have on sites like YouTube. These videos typically have a model staring into the camera like some seductive vixen or escaped sociopath. And you, the viewer, can practice making eye contact with this model. You can practice the triangle method by looking at the screen. And this is a good starting point, especially if you're very uncomfortable using eye contact with real people in real-world situations. You can start with this. Don't only use this, of course. You should practice with real people. But it is a good initial step to get you comfortable and familiar with using eye contact techniques. You can use these videos to begin building up confidence, and when you feel confident enough, you can go out to the real world and start with low-stake situations. Again, making eye contact with the grocer, making eye contact with the bank teller, the doorman, the bus driver, that kind of thing. Those are great opportunities to practice in real time because these are not situations that mean anything. They're quick interactions. And if you don't do well, nothing bad happens. You could just go back and try it again. But you do want to graduate from these videos into real-world practice because it's the only way to get better. And you should always be challenging yourself. Create time deadlines for yourself. If you can do it 1 second, then you could tell yourself for next week you want to hold eye contact for 2 seconds. And then eventually, hopefully, you can work your way up to the 3.3 seconds, use the triangle method so that you can keep revolving around that 3.3 seconds. And then, voila! Next thing you know, you are somebody that can maintain eye contact, which will make you come across as more assertive in the long run.
One other thing that might help you make eye contact
is what's often referred to as a barrier. A barrier is something that comes between you and the person you're speaking with. Theoretically, a barrier mentally shields you from the other person's glare. For example, wearing glasses,
or hugging a bunch of books in your hand, or even looking from beyond the brim of a hat can help make you feel like you have a barrier, creating a safe distance between you and the person you're talking to. And it can help people feel less vulnerable when they connect eyes. But keep in mind that this is all psychosomatic, right? So for some people, wearing glasses can make them feel like there is a layer of protection, like they're Clark Kent or something. But in all actuality, there isn't really. But if it makes you feel better, if it helps you mentally, then awesome. But try not to develop a dependency on it. You don't need it. If you can make eye contact with glasses, for example, you can make it without them. All right, so work towards being able to do it without props. Make that your eventual end goal.